everybody. It's Kayla with Celebration Company. Happy, what is today? Wednesday. Duh, it's Wednesday. It's What You Cookin' Wednesday. And we are making fish tacos today. Fish tacos are one of my favorites. This one specifically, I make all the time. It is one of my favorite meals. And it's actually inspired by a Mexican restaurant here in our town. And Andrew and I both get a dish there called Fiesta Trio. And it has a piece of tilapia, I think, a piece of chicken, and a piece of steak. And it's cooked with jalapenos and onions. That's the vegetable. And then, of course, it's served with the salad, and the rice and the beans and all of that stuff. And so that's where this is inspired from, because I love the fish. Andrew and I both love the fish from this restaurant when we order this dish. And I always ask for no steak, and I'll just get 2 pieces of fish. They upcharge me. I like the steak, but I like the fish way better. So I'll get 2 pieces of fish and then the jalapenos and the onions, and it's just yummy. So that's what this is inspired by. If you like spicy or a little bit spicy, you're going to like this. You can always substitute as well for other types of peppers. But this is a really good meal. It's also easy. It comes together really fast, which is another reason why I like it, because I can throw it together really quickly. And it doesn't take a whole lot of effort. Y'all, comments are not coming in. And I don't know if I've done something wrong, but all of a sudden I'm not seeing comments. And yesterday they were. Today they're not. Have I done something to mess this up? I assume y'all are commenting. When you hop on, say hey, let me know you're watching. I just want to make sure we're good. Yep, there's comments. I don't know why they're not coming in. Let's see here. Let me see if I can Google it really quick. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I'm trying to see if I can figure it out really quick. I'm not seeing anything though. Darn it. All right, let me see if I can just use my phone. Hey, let me know you're watching. This is gonna be a little tricky, y'all, okay? Hi Brenda, hey Tammy, thanks for sprinkling. Hi Carol, hey Naoma, hi Debbie, hey Jamie, hey Dorothy, hi Terry Barnes, hey Gloria, hey Janie. Oh my goodness. Y'all, I'm cooking for my family. I'm cooking in my own home. I'm not cooking for a bunch of people. I'm not gonna pull my hair back. Literally, it's not a big deal. It's not a big deal, okay? All right. Hey, everybody. Hey, Kathy. Okay, I'm going to do my best, y'all, with this to respond to your comments, but this is going to be difficult because they're not coming through. They're not coming through over here like they always do, so I'm going to have to do some research on that. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. We're going to start with our fish, okay? So I have my oven on broil. That's what I always do with my fish. I set it to broil, and I use flounder. Okay, so I buy this family size bag of flounder. This is the 2-pound bag, and I cook all of it in one time. Hey, Joan. Hi, Wendy. My family loves this stuff. Griffin loves the fish. And so it goes over really well around here. And so I can't get it open. Here we go. So if we have a little bit left over, it's really great for lunch for the next day. So I'll just eat it for lunch the next day. So I find that when I don't do the whole bag, it's not enough. And fish is one of those things, in my opinion, it's not like steak or like chicken. It goes down really easily. And so I feel like you can eat more of it than you can other things. Do y'all know what I mean? Am I crazy? You know, with fish, I feel like I could eat 2 or 3 fillets. That's crazy, but it's true. Hi, Danae. Ellen, we're doing fish tacos. Fish tacos. Okay. All right. So I'm going to take a cookie sheet, and I've got my aluminum foil. I know that aluminum foil isn't the healthiest thing to cook on, but I hate cleanup. So I always line with aluminum foil in order to save me some cleanup. I can't help it. Okay, so then I'm gonna have to get scissors out because these aren't perforated like they normally are. Let me try from this way. No, let me get some scissors. So they're individually wrapped. These are from Kroger. And I just take them out of their packages. Easier said than done. Jeez Louise. They've got some new packaging. It looks like this one's the way it used to be. Me too, Danae. I love them. Yeah, it's not as filling. Maybe that's what it is. It's like you can just eat more of it. So 2 pounds doesn't go as far as it does if you've got beef or if you've got chicken. So that's why I use the whole package of the fish. And if you've never had flounder, it's a really good mild fish. Tastes really good. We really like it around here. Okay. All right, so we got some on there, y'all, and I meant to spray a little ham underneath my fish. Okay. Fish also, it shrinks up. Have y'all noticed that? It kind of shrinks too when it cooks. All right, y'all, let me just say this out of love, okay? I love you all very, very much. I super appreciate y'all taking care of me and all of that, but I just would rather you not, how's the best way to say this without sounding, I don't want you to come at other people. Do you know what I mean? Because we just all need to be nice and kind and respectful. And, you know, I don't want any fighting going on in the comments, okay? It's not a big deal. It really isn't a big deal. I'm not hurt. But I also am probably not going to change. I'm probably not going to do anything different than what I would typically do. I'm inviting y'all into my home to cook with me on a Wednesday evening. I'm going to do it the way I always do it. Okay. And I completely understand if that's not the way others would do it, and that's totally fine. That's why we're all different. All right. Okay, so we got all our fish. Let me get rid of this trash. I'm trying real hard to watch these comments. Okay, so I'm gonna take some Cajun seasoning. Now you could use whatever you want to here. I love Cajun seasoning, and I think it goes really well with these fish tacos. You could use taco seasoning, you could use fajita seasoning, you could just use like garlic, onion, salt, pepper, something like that. You could literally just do like some garlic salt. I love Cajun seasoning. And like I said, I think it goes perfect with these. And Cajun seasoning, it's got salt in it. It's got a little spice to it. It just kind of has everything in it. I season it pretty liberally with Cajun seasoning. Just kind of all over the fish. And these are frozen, by the way. I did not put them in the fridge and let them thaw. We're going to cook them from frozen. You can use any kind of Cajun seasoning you want. I think this is Slap Your Mama. Some kind of seasoning that Andrew bought. We're just sprinkling all over. Okay. There we go. Yeah, we're using flounder and we're using Cajun seasoning. You don't eat fish tacos. Why, Rosemary? Why do you like flounder but you don't like fish tacos? What is it about fish tacos you don't like? All right, so I've got these in I've got my oven on broil. Okay. Now, don't worry. I don't know if you've ever cooked something like this on broil, but it doesn't cook fast. Okay, so it's not like what you're used to. They're not going to burn unless you just leave them in there for a long, long time. But because they're frozen, they don't cook super duper fast. It's going to take about 20 minutes probably. And they're not going to burn or anything like that. So I'm going to stick these in and I'll rotate them like midway through cooking so that they cook evenly because I've got one on top of the other, right? Okay, so let's see here. Old Bay seasoning is great, absolutely. Definitely try it, Danae. Did Andrew get on here and say something? Because I saw someone say that's funny, Andrew. But I don't see it. Okay, so now I have got my peppers here and I've got an onion. So we're going to get that going. Let me get my skillet out. And I'm going to put some olive oil in my skillet. Okay. Oh, you don't like the soft shells. Okay. Well, you could always, Christine, it's on broil, so it's 550 degrees, but it's broil, so it's just the top rack. I think is the way that it works. All right, so I've just got some olive oil in there. And let's get these chopped up. Let me get a knife out of my clean dishes over here that I haven't put away yet. Okay, so we'll just slice our onions. So this is a big onion that I'm using. Y'all, this is killing me to not have these comments up here. It's throwing me off in a major way. Linda, I did that a while back. And part of it is a matter of I have a small space. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have and the thing about it is this isn't all of it. These are just the main ones. The entire cabinet up here above my microwave is full of spices. And that is not as pretty as this is. I can guarantee you that. Okay, so we're just gonna slice this. You can do it however you want to. You can dice it. Whatever works best for you. Okay, set that aside, and then we're going to move on to our poblano. Now, I'm adding a poblano to this. You can use just jalapenos. What I find is a lot of the times if I do just the jalapenos, it's too spicy. I can't handle it. So that's up to you. Andrew could totally handle it and would probably prefer it that way. But when I have done it, it's just not worked for me. And you can do it however you want to. You can leave all the seeds in, you know, all of that. But we love poblano peppers around here. They're not spicy and they're delicious. So we're going to add some poblanos to this. Y'all will hear me talk about poblanos a lot because they are my favorite pepper. And anywhere where I'm going to use a pepper, most of the time I'm going to use poblanos. I'm going to chop these just into thirds so they're not like super, super big. Throw that top in there as well. Pam, this is a Pampered Chef knife. Don't know which one specifically, but it's a Pampered Chef. Will I be back later to paint with you? Oh my goodness, Jerry. Thank you for reminding me about that because I forgot. Yes, I will. It took me a minute to figure out what you were talking about. Okay, so for the jalapenos, I just am going to cut them in half, and then I'm just going to cut out these seeds. And then we'll just slice these up. And I'm using 4. Again, you can use however many you want to. Getting some of these seeds out. I love the flavor of jalapenos, but I don't want it to be so hot that I just am like, you know, my mouth's on fire, my lips are on fire, you know, all of that. But I love the flavor of jalapenos. And I can handle some heat. Y'all, I've talked about it before. I do like spicy food. But there's a limit, you know? And I'm sure you all have that too. So you can definitely omit the jalapenos here and just use poblanos or bell peppers. It won't be as good, I'm just saying, but you could do it. Okay, one more. Let me get my pan on so we can start getting these cooked. Yes, Christine. Jerry, I don't know. Oh, really, Terry? They don't bother my hands, but now if I don't wash my hands well enough and later on I scratch my eye or something, or rub my eye, that is when I have a problem. You could definitely use gloves here if you wanted to. I can feel my eyes burning a smidge. Someone talked about the onions, but they're actually not too bad for some reason. Okay, there we go. We got all our onions and our peppers cut up. I'm gonna throw this stuff away, all of the remnants. Okay, let's see how our pan looks. We need to let it warm up just a little bit longer. So the other element to this is, Jerry, it'll be in a couple of hours. I can't say for sure, but sometime after dinner. So is avocados or guacamole. Guacamole is an essential in my house. It is something that I love, and it's something I'm unwilling to give up, and I will not sacrifice. Nor will I sacrifice the amount I have of it. And I never have. I never have. I love it, and it's not going anywhere. The thing about guacamole is it is high in calories, but in my personal opinion, it might be high in calories, but it's also good for you. So it weighs out. It weighs out. You know what I'm saying? Okay. So I think my pan is ready. So I'm going to throw in my onions and my peppers. Not quite ready because it's not sizzling, but it's all right. And you can do less than this. Again, this is just something, it's going to get used in our house. It's going to get eaten. So why not? Do you know what I mean? Why not? I'm just breaking up some of those onions. Okay. And then I'm going to add some salt to this. Okay. Now I'm going to go wash my hands. Hang on just a second. Okay. So we're going to do our avocados. Some of these might be a little too ripe. I don't know. We're going to find out. I don't know if y'all know this trick or not, but when you buy avocados, leave them on your counter until they're ripe and then stick them in the fridge. They last a long time in the fridge. So you don't have to worry about always having avocados go bad. That is what we do, and it works like a dream. This one has got a little bit too ripe. This is where Kayla just left them on the counter for too long before I stuck them in the fridge. Look, that one is definitely too ripe. And as soon as I felt them the day, I was like, oh crap. I let them get too ripe. We're going with it anyway. We're going with it anyways. All right. Okay, I'm gonna grab a spoon and a fork. These are my tools for making guacamole. We'll get that seed out. I'll use my spoon to scoop the avocado out. And then I use the skin to pull the seed off of the knife. Just like that. These are looking very overly ripe. I'm just going to scoop out some of the parts that are too ripe. It really just, it's edible, but it really just kind of grosses me out. Do you know what I mean? Okay. Here we go. All right. So now we're going to dress this. And you can use whatever you want to. I keep mine very simple most of the time, and I love it. So it's completely up to you on what you use. Just checking my fish here. I'm going to flip them around here in a few minutes. All right, so I've got onion powder, and I use a lot of it. I just eyeball it. I've got garlic powder, always the powders, never the salt. Because I like to control the salt myself. And I want to have as much garlic as I want to and not have to worry about it being too salty. You know what I mean? Okay, and then we're going to do some crushed red pepper. However much you like. We're going to get some salt and some pepper. And then I'm going to grab a lime, and I don't always add the lime. I am going to add the lime today. But sometimes I literally just do that, and it's delicious. Okay? It's delicious. All avocado needs is some spice. It just needs a little bit of flavoring, you know? I sometimes use cilantro. It just depends on the day. For the most part, if I am just making guac for my family, I keep it pretty simple. It's just easy. I don't have to buy the cilantro. If I have a lime, I'll use it. If I make it for a crowd, I'll add tomatoes, I'll add cilantro, I'll add fresh garlic. But if I'm making it for just us, this is delicious, I promise. And honestly, you don't miss all those other things. You just don't. I just then take my fork to mix this up with and to mash it. I don't like mine super chunky. but I don't necessarily want it pureed either. So I just usually take the fork and it will break up those pieces the way that I prefer it. And then we've got guacamole. All right, I'm going to, this is what it looks like. Looks yummy. I'll taste it here in a minute, make sure we have enough salt. That's usually the biggest thing. You want to make sure your guacamole's got enough salt. Otherwise, it's not going to be very tasty, if I'm being totally honest. You don't want it to be salty, but it needs just the right amount. Okay, I'm going to stir my veg over here. And then I'm going to rotate my fish. Is that him? No, he's not. And it's almost done. Like you can see, this is what it looks like. It's not burned, even though it's been on broil. So we're going to rotate those. But the one on the bottom is not nearly as done as the one on the top is. Okay, it does create lots of juices. So see? So we're going to rotate. That one on the top. This one on the bottom. And that's another reason why. It's another reason why I choose to cook it on broil, because it has so much moisture in it. And so when you cook it on broil, then you're helping to kind of get rid of a little bit of that water. It cooks off a little bit more than if you were to just bake it on like 350. So you get more of a chance to get a little color on it that way. Otherwise, it's just going to cook before it gets brown at all, and you're just gonna have to cook the dickens out of it in order for it to do anything. You know what I mean? All right, so let me clean all this up. Hang on just a second. Get all these avocado skins and stuff out of the way. And all this avocado that was too overly ripe. Okay, so I'm gonna get some chips and we're gonna taste our guac. Me too, I could eat the whole bowl of guac as well. Linda, I have, but I can't get them all in one pan. And I find that the more I put in the pan, then the more water there is, the less chance they have of getting any kind of color on them. So let me grab some chips. This is my favorite chip. I love these chips in the guacamole. They're not horrible, but they're not low carb, so typically this will be my carb. 19 grams of carbs for 13 chips. 13 chips is usually plenty. But let's taste it. Perfect. And someone said they could eat the whole bowl. I have been known to have nothing but dinner except for chips and guacamole. And that's my dinner. All right, this meal's almost done. Let me show you what else we're gonna do. Okay, we got a couple of things. All right, so these are what we eat our fish tacos on. These are the 0 net carb tortillas. There are multiple brands of these. I don't really care what brand it is. I always buy whatever's the cheapest. These are the Mission ones. You get 3 tortillas for 110 calories. 3 fish tacos is usually enough for me. Like I said, I use more than 1 piece of fish for sure, but I'll break it up into a couple of pieces and put it in my fish taco. Then I do the peppers and the onions and guacamole in my fish taco. And that's my fish taco. You can also make a sauce if you want to with blended cottage cheese. I have made, Andrew wanted me to make it, but I sort of forgot all of the ingredients. I've done a Chipotle lime sauce before as well. And I use cottage cheese with it, and it is really yummy also. And I will be making that in the next couple of weeks because Andrew is really wanting it. Sort of letting down today. Were they good, Bridget? Michelle says, best tortillas ever. I haven't tried that, Sherry. I'm worried they would fall through. They would not, that they would fall straight through the rack and wouldn't hold their shape. So anyways, these don't have any carbs in them. They've got 19 grams of fiber and 7 grams of protein. So then I also fix this. Sometimes I eat this and sometimes I don't, but Griffin loves this stuff. It's so good. He absolutely loves it. It's just the Kroger brand 90 seconds. They've got other brands, but we always buy the Kroger brand. It's cilantro lime rice. It's really not too bad. It's pretty clean, honestly. And it's got 230 calories for 1 cup of rice. Which, you know, if I eat it, I'm not eating a whole cup. Griffin will eat the whole bag if I would let him. But you just kind of squeeze the pouch like this to break up the rice. And then I just kind of push it back down. And then you just crack open the sides, stick it in the microwave for 90 seconds. All right, our peppers and onions look good. Let me just show you. They got some color on them. Look at that. I mean, you could eat that right there, in my opinion, with a fork and be happy. Very happy. Okay, so let me grab a plate here. I'm out of paper plates. So I'll use a real plate so y'all can see it, how pretty it is. And then we like to use these things. I believe these came from Dollar Tree. I'm pretty sure they came from Dollar Tree. I don't do anything to the tortillas. I don't warm them up. I don't toast them. I don't do anything. I keep it simple. Hang on. A comment just came through up here. I don't know. You know, the other bad thing is I'm not seeing YouTube comments either. Okay, I'm going to pull the ones out on the bottom, the fish, because it is ready. And with fish, I just sort of use my judgment on it. Once it starts to easily break apart, it's done. So it's pretty simple. Like I said, these, they shrink down, as you can see. All right, got our rice ready. Our peppers and onions are ready. I'm going to push those to the back. And I'm going to let those fish cook just a little bit longer, okay? But we are basically there. All right. Hello, Atonia. I hope I said that right. Is on the shelf next to all the other rices. And there's like all kinds of different brands of 90-second rice. This one's Kroger brand. We've used the Ben's brand before as well, and it's good too. I'm using flounder is the fish that I'm using, And we just put it on a sheet tray lined with foil, sprayed the sheet tray, which really isn't super important, and covered it in Cajun seasoning, and then we're broiling the fish, okay? You can see, like, that fish has been cooking the whole time, and it is not overly done. So that's why I like to use the broiler. All right, let me show you how I assemble these tacos. So I take 3 of my tortillas. Now Griffin will not eat the tacos. He just wants the fish and the rice. And then he'll eat some kind of vegetable. So then I just take my guacamole and I put it slathered on the inside. I'll do like a fork, y'all can't see, a fork full of my guacamole. I just sort of slather it right on the inside. Like that. Okay. Then I'll take my fish. Let me see if I got a spatula over here. Nope, I don't. Okay. Let me find a spatula over here. All right, so I'll just take my fish and I will just, it kind of has like 2 little fillets. I'll just kind of cut it in half. And I'll throw 1 fillet in. And you know what? This one is gonna have the 2 fillets. And then sometimes I'll take another and cut it down in half and then down the middle again to just add another little bit of fish in there. So I load it pretty full with fish. That is like 2.5 fillets of fish. Okay. And then we're just gonna take our peppers and onions and fill the top with the peppers and onions. Did y'all know that peppers and onions actually have a lot of health benefits? Sometimes when I make peppers and onions, I think, oh, well, I'm not getting enough vegetables. But then I looked it up, and there's actually a ton of nutrients in peppers and onions. So you are getting your vegetables when you eat peppers and onions. Look at that. Doesn't that look good? And then I will, because like I said, I love guac and I'm not willing to skip on it. I will also have a serving of guac over here. And I will count out my 13 chips and have my 13 chips as well. Now, here lately, I don't really count it out because I have kind of an idea. And that's what I will eat. And that's a lot, y'all. It is. But it's also pretty low in calories. Fish is low in calories. The peppers and onions, the worst part about that's the olive oil, which you can, of course, use a lot less than what I used. And then our guac and our chips. Now, Griffin is going to have rice. And Andrew usually will eat the rice as well. He's allowed a lot more carbs than I am. All right, so Griffin's gonna have the rice. That's what the rice looks like. And then I'll get Griffin a couple of pieces of fish. He loves the fish. Don't you, bud?
Yeah.
Now, what kind of vegetable you want?
Broccoli.
And then we'll fix him some broccoli. Will you get some TV trays set up?
Yeah. When's that coming on?
It's gonna be late. All right, let me check on this fish. Should be ready. Yes, it is. All right. I'm just gonna grab this fish, put it on here. Okay. eat some broccoli with his and some ranch dressing, I'm sure. Let me rinse this broccoli off. Do y'all buy the broccoli crowns or the broccoli, the whole thing of broccoli? You know what I mean? I always buy the crowns because I'm like, I don't like the stem, so why am I paying for the weight of that when I could just have the broccoli, the part that I like, you know? Griffin doesn't like the stems either, so I cut it pretty close to the top for him. You buy the crowns. All right, so there you have it. That's our meals. Griffin's, of course, going to have some ranch dressing with his. But this is a really good dinner. It's yummy. It is messy, by the way. So keep some paper towels on hand. But thank you all so much for joining me. I hope y'all enjoyed this. I will see you guys tomorrow. If you're a DIY Decor Box subscriber, I'll see you tonight for our prep work, okay? All right. Bye, y'all. Love ya.